I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I'm only 63. I'm only 63, so you know.
Okay. So so hello everybody. It's really cool to be growing our little room here. People are popping in. I'm live on StreamYard. I'm live on all of my normal venues. I actually got locked out of my POD TV StreamYard today because yesterday the internet was down. The internet was down. Can you all see me in there? I'm in here, everybody. I love you. And it's Weeds Day, episode 197. That's our new logo, everybody. And
Uncle Stoner's here.
That yeah, Uncle Stoner, and that beautiful Dolly Parton in the genie bottle is with us today. We love you, Jeannie, and you're looking great every week. So, Rodimus, how's my mic today?
Mike who? Just kidding. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, it's not too hot. Okay, and so there's a I did this the other day, and when I was at the dentist, and
it's a little hot. It's a little hot. You could bring it down to just a smidge. Well,
I don't know how to do that, so I'm gonna move.
I'm hearing fine. It seems okay on my end. I don't hear any reverb or any.
I'm gonna move it back. So anyways, I was doing this at the dentist the other day, and my dentist said, "What's that all about?" And the other guy said, "That was a little bit of he pulled out something on TV." I said, "It's the Three Stooges," and he went whoop 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 whoop. So let's laugh today. In through it all, let's close our eyes for a few seconds to remember the people that have parted us. My father's yard site was this week, and my best buddy Steve's father left on the same day as my father. So we're honoring the fathers today. We're honoring Jack Terror, like terror. He's the granddaddy and the father of the movement that we're doing. And so it's really a blessing that we have my project that I'm working on this here, relief project right here. It's going to be really incredible. Let's see if I can make it smaller here. If I can, there we go. So so relief is a foundation that I've been working on for several years, everybody. And again, this is Jeff Eichen with Weeds Day, episode 197, with all the usual suspects. And Relief is my project that we're launching. Maybe we're launching today, maybe we're launching tomorrow, but next week on the 16th, we're going to have a live broadcast. So we'll have sort of like a Weeds Day Friday, and we're going to be broadcasting from our fundraiser. And our fundraiser is really a project that's going to help us to gift the prison reform road that we're traveling on, some restitution, some commissary money for their families and for the time they spend in jail, because these people are coming home, but not quick enough. We want to end prohibition, everybody. And so we're asking for seed money. We're asking for $10,000 on that day to help to pay for our production team, our people that are donating their time until this actually comes to fruition, working on 501(c)(3). I've done my LLC, and so I'm being a good boy and keeping all my P's and Q's right. But this is our launch. This is our launch, everybody, and I'm really excited to invite you to our Funblazer series. So yeah, now. So we like music. And so, in fact, I met some people yesterday at a Roach Coach here in Port Townsend.
Take that corn off, Kenners.
So I met some people at a Roach Coach yesterday in the middle of nowhere in Port Townsend, in the middle of Port Townsend, Washington, my little town here where we're starting everything locally. And I met these two guys, and they had tattoos, and they had this and that, and they were not the same, ethnicity as me. And I said, "Are you guys singers and rappers and blah, blah, blah? I've never seen them before in my town." And they go, "Yeah, we just moved to blah 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 with our mom's house, and we came from blah blah blah." and they're going to play at our fundraiser. They're going to do a rap song, a weed rap song. So that's going to be a surprise. But the angels are happening for us, everybody. So don't forget that, let's see here, that on March 16th at 4:20 p.m., we're going to gather and we're going to have 20 people. I invited all the bud owners, bud shop owners locally, and we're going to have 20 people. We're asking for $10,000 that night. So bring your $500 checkbook. It'd be really great to see you and have you as part of our party. And then,
you can donate virtually too. You don't have to even be there to donate.
And that's what I was going to get at. Yes. So thank you so much for saying that, Rodimus. I'm going to try to make my poster smaller here. There we go. So it's me, Jeff Eichen. Yes, we'll be streaming it live. And by that time, our brand new website, which is looking really cool, and our brand new website will have donation buttons, and that's production money until we do the big concert in Oakland Coliseum, where people come to see them. And we're going to hopefully have some incredible kids to photograph and film the documentary, so we can send our film, our footage, our awareness to the White House and get this done. So I'm going to do my job. We're going to get 42,000 people at Oakland Coliseum. In fact, Rodimus, Oakland Coliseum called me yesterday. I cold called them. So they called me yesterday, said 420 is available on 2025. They said, we would love to have you, Jeffrey. So we got them alerted. And so we're running to the finish line, but we're starting off with 4 phases. We're going to have a film festival here with a Tommy Chong movie that I'm not a Tommy Chong movie, but Tommy Chong gifted us his presence in my movie, and Lifers Madness. And you all know about that if you've been on my show or hanging out with me. I got help to have Jeff Mazansky come home. 300,000 signatures. I went into his prison. I went and filmed him. They checked all of my stuff, my cameras. They took the film out. They did this. All right, you can go in, Jeffrey. They took my hat off, and they didn't do a rectal exam, but come on, this is late night. This is late night, everybody. But I was in prison with Jeff Mazansky. I've only been in a few times to prisons, but I'm getting ready to go see Edwin. And today, possibly, we might have Freedom Sodas pop in, because Freedom Sodas is a new soda that has a white label of the prisoners on their soda. And so that's pretty cool. And we've talked to the bong company. We're going to do a Freedom Bong series to raise money for these people. I mean, can you imagine if you were 5 years old and your daddy was in jail for 30 freaking years, going to the playground and having kids say, your daddy's in jail for weed, or not having a daddy to drive the boat so you can be on a big old inflatable hot dog, bouncing on the water every summer. So we want to help the prisoners feel like it was okay to come home, or that they're home, and that we can't make up for lost time, but we can have a concert, everybody. It's called Relief Concert, Relief Foundation. Go to our new website. It's almost done, but it's live. And go to our new website. It's Relief Foundation, no hyphen anymore. But if you go to the hyphen one, there's a really cool website I built last night, because I'm addicted to my Wix. And that's all I got for you. I'm going to start my my intro and share my screen with you all and keep this day going, because I got to be out of here at the top of the hour. So welcome everybody and all the new folks, and Eric Boone from Portugal. So
I got news to read. I got some cool news to read.
And some cool news to read also. So we'll get that all in today. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen, everybody, and go to my QuickTime. Let's see if I can get to QuickTime and due time and enjoy this. And I met a new freed prisoner today, this week, and I recorded him, and he's gonna be part of the party. Here we go. Hello, everybody. There are still people in prison for marijuana, but there is a new person that came our way this week, and I'd like to introduce him to you by hearing just a few words. And here we go. Hemp Parade, Jeff Eichen, with episode 197 of Weeds Day. Buddy, this is Jeff Eichen with Weeds Day, with Lifers Madness, the movie, and Relief Foundation, and our new fundraiser. I want to introduce you to a new friend of mine, an ex-POW, and I want him to give us a testimonial that it sucks to be in jail, and that for you all to empty your pockets and help us make a concert with Snoop and Willie if they're willing. So take it away, introduce yourself, and it's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well. My name is Christopher, sometimes go by Dr. Daymaker. I spent 3 years and 9 months in federal prison for a ghost dope conspiracy charge that was a government cover-up that involved government officials, Navy SEALs, the whole 9 yards. And I took it on the chin, and, you know, it is absolutely intolerable, the conditions that are taking place inside these prisons, the inadequacy of health care, the inability to do anything to help these prisoners. Trump passed this FSA bill. None of the credits or hours are actually applying. It's called EDRR programming. Every single thing about it, from the food to the living, just everything. I was in 11 facilities, 3 times on Con Air. I got my ass handed to me, and I didn't play by the rules. And, you know, sincerely, nobody should be, it says it in the Bible, God gave us every herb-bearing seed. And the reality is, it is beyond a victimless crime. In fact, the victims are the ones that aren't having access to this medicine. And it's quite infuriating. I've met many people along the way that were in there for cannabis, and all of these people were amazing individuals. They weren't nefarious. They weren't actually, some of them, doing anything wrong, some just by association. But, you know, I'm walking a strong path. And, you know, as the saying goes, prison starts when you get out of prison. It's not when you're in prison. I have an amazing resume. I'm French, Moroccan, and Azorian. Although my skin is white, which I don't know what that means in this day and age, I still cannot get a job.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to World 420 Day. It's going to be a good one.
Jeff Eichen here with Lifers and Movie. I'm sticking to my story. Thank you all for joining in here and watching this incredible story of people, yes, still in prison for life, for a plan, and for nonviolent crimes. It's time to level the playing field and to tell your authorities and locally to end prohibition. We can do this, folks. We have to. It will manifest in so many different ways across the board. Hemp Parade, I mean what I say. Reform, clemency, and restitution. It's a good time to speak up and through film share this with the world and end global prohibition.
This is Tommy Chong for Lifers Madness.
Hemp Parade. Don't forget March 20. It's March 16th, actually. That was my old poster. And so don't forget, it's coming right up. Our fundraiser at 821 Washington Street in Port Townsend. If you're invited, come. Bring your wife, bring your friends, bring your family. And so that's all I got for you on my incredible edible.
Your husband.
Free your husband, yeah, free your husband.
Bring your husband.
So there's a rumor happening around here that says that Uncle Stoner has to leave soon.
Okay, well, that's part of the party. Hang on just a minute. Let me get back to my Zoom chat here, everybody, and stop sharing. And here we are. Uncle Stoner, welcome. We are so happy to have you. You're muted. Unmute yourself. We saw your dog on. Where's the dog? Is that a new strain? Dog hammer?
He needs you to unmute him, Jeff. He doesn't know how to do that.
Oh, asked to unmute. It doesn't allow me to unmute him. He's
Can you
getting
hear
it.
me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hear me now?
Perfectamundo.
Awesome. Great. No, that was actually my mother-in-law's dog. Actually, my little brother-in-law's dog. I'm here because we're about to head over to Europe, actually, because we got Cannabis weekend happening this week, which is so crazy. All these huge events around cannabis that we freely can go to, but yet there's still people in prison for this plant. It's so ridiculous. I think that's so sad that here I can travel the world, have my competition that I do, and go to all these great events, and there's people in prison sitting there watching and seeing that they wait. I did the same thing, or I just grew one plant and I'm in prison for this. It is so sad. Like Jeff Meninsky. I'm glad that they let him out. I'm one of the. I think after he got out of prison, I'm one of the first ones. I think after you interviewed him, I interviewed him back at Animal Cup in I think 2015 or 16 or something like that.
Oh yeah, we
But
brought
he
him out
broke
here.
that.
Yeah. I had him at
Yeah.
DPA and everything. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what is your main effort on the 420 highway?
Well, myself, I'm a cannabis activist, patient myself. I'm ex-military. I use cannabis for my PTSD and stuff. And, I try and travel the world and spread that knowledge and that love all around the world. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. Started out in Amsterdam, meeting a lot of the people there, working with a lot of different growers and breeders and stuff, taking their genetics, bringing them back to my farm in California where I used to live, and growing them, and then taking clones and just freely giving them out to all the veterans or whoever wanted my clones. I gave out to them freely. I figured, yeah. So and then recently in 2017, I created a competition called Squash Off. It's a live, interactive, educational competition because, as I said, this industry is getting so huge and large. New countries, new states are becoming legal, medical-wise, recreational-wise. So there's a lot of new patients and users of cannabis out there. Well, a lot of them don't know the things we know and what my judges know. So I created a competition where the audience can sit there and listen and see everything that goes on with a judging competition, from either our flower entry to where we take that flower, put it on a microscope, project it up to a big monitor TV screen, so the audience can see as the judges sit there and critique and talk about the trichome formation and all that. I ask the judges questions on the reasoning. I allow the audience to ask questions as well. Because as I said, not everybody knows everything, all the things about cannabis like us, the people that have been immersed in it for all these years. So I think it's important for a new customer or a new patient to actually understand what trichomes look like, what it looks like when they're healthy, when it's pulled right, or when it's pulled early, or if the heads are gone, if it's degrading, allowing them to learn all that stuff. And is basically what I do with our competition. And plus, with me being in the industry so long and traveling the world, my wife and I, we've been creating our own genetics for the last 8 years, actually 10 years. And we're just now recently going to start letting them out.
So you're breeding your own strain?
Yes, we've actually, I can't say who with because I signed the NDA, but one of the largest seed companies out there in the world, they've been testing our our strains. Excuse me, my wife's handed me some that she wants to read. Been testing our strains and stuff, and they're extremely happy with it.
That's
So,
beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
see where
beautiful.
she's-
So in other words, you good?
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought it was something about the interview, but she's just telling me what she's not ordering me for dinner before we take off.
Hey,
So
no worries.
everybody, I'm having pot-belly sandwiches before I take off to the airport today. So yeah, sorry about that. I thought she was giving me a list.
That's okay.
You know,
Ham
some of our
ham
different strains that we
ham
do.
parade. So
I
everybody,
thought she was giving me a list of the strains that we do, because we have a huge list of, but a lot of these strains that we created, most of them are based out of Jamaica. So we took Jamaican lineage strains that have been growing there forever, because Jamaica, it had power before New York. So many people, that was essential. People came into that Jamaica. Out of many came one, is what they say. And so all these different countries around the world came there. They brought different genetics there, and they've been growing on that island for forever. So now they've kind of almost come to almost like a land race there. They've developed their own characteristics.
Recording in progress.
And so we, sorry about that. Oop, let me go back. So we took some of them and some of the other strains that I've liked myself throughout the years, and crossed them with the various strains that we like to Jamaica and stuff. And so we've been doing test grows on that. And then we have some other companies that have been doing test grows that are really
so you might take No Woman No Cry and Three Little Birds and cross them and make a super Bob Marley strain.
Yeah, there you go. Well, yes, actually, yeah, something like that. Like the early girl, pearl, Jamaican pearl. We took there's the critical Kush. The Kush, there's a Kush there in Jamaica. There's an Ida skunk there's in Jamaica that you can get. There's a lot of hazes in there, various hazes there in Jamaica that are grown.
So Dr. Stoner, tell us a little bit about your navigating the high end of the industry. What is your take on prisoners in jail, and how are you going to help us make this concert happen with Snoop and Willie and at the Oakland Coliseum? I'm going to be super clean.
First of all, what's that? Sorry.
I'm going to be super blunt with all my blunters here, because that's a blunt. That blunt is a really good way to puff your weed. And so I just want to get you on board. I want to enlist you, since you got some swag. Bring it on. Tell us your heart connected to my project.
Yeah, no, I'd love to help out, definitely promote, bring this on. I think it's extremely important that, because there's prisoners still in prison for one plant or 2 joints or just an ounce of weed, and they're still there. And I think that's very unfair to them and their families, as you said. And there needs to be fundraisers and ways to help these people out and fight to get them out of prison. And I believe that your concert that you want to put on next year is going to be a step in the right direction of doing that, bringing us all together. Like they did, like John Lennon did for John Sinclair. John Sinclair back in the day in Michigan got busted with 2 joints. They wanted to give him life. John Lennon Oakland came down and performed in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and did a big old fundraiser and made a big old stink about it. They released John Sinclair. Then he wound up getting out of that lifetime prison for them 2 joints, because Oakland, John Lennon, and them came down. That's why now they have the Ash Bash, the Monroe Street Fair, and Hash Bash Cup there.
We had Adam on a few weeks ago from Hashback. And
Adam. Me and Adam, we go way back. We first met over in Amsterdam years ago. So.
Oh yeah. I was with Jack Harrer. He wrote the book with Ellen Comp in my living room in LA, The Revision. And so we're all OGs, and I want all the OGs to help out to get your swag and your extra dollars. So we're going to have our new website's going to have a donation page, and we're going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen. So I'd like to introduce you to actually my co-producer, Rodimus. Would you like to say hi to Uncle Stoner?
Yeah, hi. We actually did say hello earlier. But I also noticed we have another really amazing person here with us, besides Canada Nurse. and Crazy Bob Man. We got and Solo. We got Eric Boone down there being very patient, and I think he should also pipe in here and have a chat. Thanks, Uncle Stoner, for what you're doing, man. It sounds amazing.
No.
Have a nice
Thank you guys
trip.
for what you guys are doing. You know,
Good
it's
travel.
very important. You know, someone needs to fight for these prisoners and for the people that are still in the prison system for this plan. It is so ridiculous, plain and simple. And I'm glad people like you and people like me, we can help out whatever way we can. And I'm definitely going to help out whatever way I can for this concert on 420.
Because you know, Uncle Stoner, the whole cannabis industry, the karma can't be clean until all the prisoners are out.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, Uncle Stoner is our favorite uncle.
Thank you.
Amen. Eric, say hi to Dave.
Hey, I'm so happy to be with everyone tonight. Hey, Dave, how you doing, Uncle Stoner? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, bro.
Grasshopper. It's always nice to see you, Rodimus. Didn't really get to chat with you a whole lot last week, so greetings. Hope everything's going well in Paris. We're holding down the fort here in the Iberian Peninsula. Very excited about Germany's dropping the green flag on recreational. So that sort of opened a number of floodgates. Dave, just to fill you in, I'm actually based here in Lisbon, and Rodimus is there in Paris. So we're sort of encircling the European market and bringing a bit of an international flair to Weed Wednesday. So you see my background is Seattle Hemp Fest. I was the former president of the board. I was the second president ever to follow our celebrity our celebrity leader Vivian McPeak. Thankfully, Vivian he sort of took a hiatus to focus on his health, but I was delighted to hand those reins back to him this year. So Vivian is now president of HempFest again. I'm focusing on HempFest International. We're having an event with a couple of partner events, Canna Portugal and the World CBD Awards in Estoril in October. So HempFest has actually spread its wings and is establishing itself internationally.
Count us in. We're coming.
Yeah,
We're coming.
And Jeff, I've got a specific line item in the budget, hopefully to get you out here. So,
Okay, we'd love to come, and I'll do media for you, and also do WEEDSDAY from Canna, Portugal. It'd be great. And we'll promote our concert because we're going to have you come out. We're going to fly you in to be on stage with all the prisoners, dude.
Yeah. I absolutely, I'm always game to participate. But in the meantime, I'm trying to hold down the fort here. A lot of work ahead for us. But man, we are super excited to start spreading the word on the other side of the Atlantic. And I'm happy to report that we don't have the same problem with a bunch of bullshit prisoners in being incarcerated for a plant. It's a uniquely American problem and something that we have to be absolutely mindful of there. But we're gonna try to raise awareness of this complete travesty here on the European continent as well. But
you remember Thailand.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Like one day was death penalty, and the next day it was like come get your California concentrates in the nearest shop. It was Thailand's a bit strange, yeah. But I mean, here in Portugal, it's kind of crazy because all drugs were decriminalized about 20 years ago.
Right.
In the early 2000s.
They decrimmed, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really fantastic. Like there's
here are my hemp shoes. I mean, come on, everybody. You want to be in jail for hemp shoes? Yeah.
But unfortunately, here in Portugal, like a lot of the local mentality, because since all drugs were decriminalized, it's like it doesn't matter if it's weed or if it's freaking crack. It's all just drugs. So I mean, there's a although it's a very progressive mindset with regard to access and legality, there's a very backward mindset with regard to exactly, the medical, spiritual, and holistic benefits that cannabis provides. So we're furtively trying to chip away at that mindset with a number of initiatives that we've got here going on. And HempFest is a big part of that. So we're really looking forward to our event in October, and always delighted to share this brief moment in time with you fine people. So
Thanks,
thanks,
Eric.
Well, you get a. So, thank you so much for all you do, Eric. How are the kids doing in Portugal?
Everyone's fantastic. It was a bit of a cold day today, but the sun was shining, the rain was away, and the kids are happy. Like, everyone's of course got a little bit of a spring sniffle, but that's par for the course. We cloistered ourselves indoors for 2 years, so it's time to pay the piper and rebuild these immune systems a little bit. So I'll be carrying around a handkerchief for a few days, as will the kids. But it is what it is.
Fantastic. Well, we're proud of you and proud to be. We're honored to have you pop in and supporting the Euro contingency. Let's hear from Canna Nurse and say hello to your buddy with Squash Off, Dr. Stoner. Canna Nurse, genie in a bottle. She brought Uncle Stoner to us. So hello.
Uncle Stoner, I am so pleased that you made our podcast. I know that you're headed to Amsterdam, and we super appreciate you taking the time. We want to tell everyone about Squash Off, and we want to share Uncle Stoner. I am swamped with all the things that you do. I'm amazed by I tried to get a little mini video clip out so people would get an update on who you were and get excited, and they were already excited. I just had to let them know, but I had to cut the clip down because there was so much. I couldn't keep it down to just the top 20. I had to keep it simple. And I'm super excited because I really wanted you to meet with Eric Boone of HempFest. I knew that there was a synergy. Your bowl mates, we're all bowl mates here, as Cheech likes to say. And our cause
is that like soulmates?
It is. It's like goalmate. Like I always say, goalmate instead of soul. It's a goal, but we're goal mates. We're all in this together. We all love medicine. We all love cannabis, right? I mean, and like I always say, it's all cannabis is medicinal. The side effect, if you will, is recreational.
Exactly.
Right.
Well,
And
marijuana leads is the gateway drug to the munchies.
Well, it's actually the exit drug. It's actually how you can stay off of opioids, how you can get rid of narcotics, how you can give an alternative to a patient who has spent their lives with PTSD. I was the nurse
Do you know
for
Dr. Uma? Excuse me. Do you know Dr. Uma? Because that's what Dr. Uma. I've known her for like 10 years, and she's always said the exact same thing. It's not an entrance drug; it's an exit drug. Yeah,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Uma, you can have her on the show. She's a quite brilliant woman, but she's always said the exact same thing. It is not an entrance drug; it's an exit drug. It has helped people get off of so many other things, from heroin to alcoholism to meth,
meth,
crap,
crystal, all
I
of
mean,
it.
and that is if you have a problem. If you have a real bad problem with all that other stuff, start using cannabis and all the other stuff. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Me, I'm a
you
person, you can use whatever drug of choice you want. Just know your tolerance and know the surroundings where you're at. Freedom to do whatever you want to, but just don't overdo it. That's that's what I think. I mean,
do you understand that you can take it, you can wear it, you can eat it, you can cook with it, bake with it, fry, you can make fried chicken if you want to, and do a foot treatment, a skin treatment, a hair treatment. It's literally the most
build a house with it, yeah.
the most versatile plant in the world, and it
Yeah,
can be
hip
used for
flex, the hip
absolutely
flex that they're making now. You can build a house with a hip flex. Cincy Steve, Ben Drucker, they own the hemp flex company. They've been doing a lot of stuff with the hemp fiber and stuff. It's amazing what you can do. This necklace here is actually a cannabis nug, electroplated at 18 karat gold. Gentlemen, Bling Your Buds from UK did this one for me.
I met that guy.
So
I met that guy. I met that guy.
Hey,
I met that guy.
Yeah. So this is a gift from him and stuff. So I mean,
If you
that's-
cash that in, we can get the concert rolling.
No, it's only electroplated. It's not solid. It's not solid. I wish it was.
Wait. I repeat. I was there when he was selling them, and they were like $1,200-$1,500 or more. So if you can cash that in, baby, we're here. We're here, baby.
Yeah. I know. I probably just want to wear it on my wrist alone.
Well, have a great time in Cannabis and everything. And everybody, thank you, 420 Genie in a bottle, and for bringing Uncle Stoner. We're really a great family here. I want to keep this a family. I want everybody in this room to be on stage with us. And at every phase, we're going to do a film festival. We're going to do another concert here in Port Townsend to raise the big money. We heard from Oakland Coliseum this week. 420 is available. Now we just have to raise $500K, everybody, to make that deposit. And we're going to talk to Jermaine, and we're going to get Snoop and Wiz Khalifa. And we don't have anybody yet except for us. And so we are the movement. So stay on the road with me. I'm going to share my screen with you all. Oh, wait. Sola Breezy, say hi to Uncle Stoner and give us a quote. Welcome, Solo.
There's all the stoners in here. Peace, love, and happiness. Nice to meet you, Uncle Stoner.
It's Uncle Jeff and Uncle Stoner.
You guys are all my uncles and aunts in here. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm an aspiring cannabis activist and look for work in the cannabis industry, so it's a pleasure to meet you. The quote that I give out for today is real simple. Quoted by Helen Keller: "Keep your face for the sunshine, and you cannot see a shadow."
Good one.
Good one. Well, I'm going to share our screen right now, and I'm going to get the news. We're going to have Rodimus with the news right now, everybody. There's some in between, medium, big, always some Canna news, and somewhere it's 420, everybody. So let me share my screen with you and do our intro for the Canna news here, and we'll be right with you here with our little intro. It's so fun that I have an intro here. Bada bing. Here we go. And we got the Canna news with Rodimus. I'm going to go back to unsharing that screen there. And thank you all for joining us on episode 197. Rodimus, we're going to put you in the center here and bring you on board here. Come on up, Rodimus, and give us the news.
Okay, here is the latest from the cannabis world. Now, this is just a small smattering of what's happening out there, but here's a couple of interesting items. Hawaii's Senate has passed legislation to legalize and regulate adult use marijuana in the state, sending the proposal next to the House of Representatives. The legislation, SB 335, that's actually 3335, would allow adults 21 and older to possess up to an ounce of marijuana and up to 5 grams of cannabis concentrates, and would establish a framework for licensed, regulated sales. The Senate also passed a separate cannabis decriminalization bill, SB 2487, on a 24-1 vote, with only Senator Kurt Favela, Republican, opposed. Under that measure, possession of more than 15 grams of marijuana would be a third-degree violation, while possession of more than 30 grams would be a second-degree violation. Last year, the Senate, this is in Hawaii, passed a separate legalization bill that later stalled in the House, but advocates are hopeful this year's proposal could get further. Governor Josh Green, everybody, Democrat, said last month that legalization is a big social issue that remains to be addressed in the state, signaling that he'd likely sign a bill to end cannabis prohibition if lawmakers sent him one. This year's current more than 300-page bill was formally introduced in both chambers in January and is largely based on a legalization plan unveiled by State Attorney General Ann Lopez, Democrat. Advocates have complained that the Attorney General written bill wrongly frames marijuana as a law enforcement issue, though they say recent committee changes have been an improvement. Quote, although this is an imperfect bill that still contains far too many elements of criminalization, it's welcome news to have a viable adult use legalization bill that can be improved upon when it reaches the House, said Nikos Leverens of the Drug Policy Forum of Hawaii and the Hawaii Health and Harm Reduction Center. Committee amendments made last month, for example, would legalize cannabis paraphernalia and add non-discrimination provisions around issues such as state benefits and child custody. The latest version also modifies an earlier ban on people with prior felonies from operating in the regulated industry, now specifying that the ban does not apply once 10 years have passed from the end of a person's completed sentence. Leverens said that as the bill moves forward, his group and other members of the Hawaii Alliance for Cannabis Reform are hopeful that the House members will consider advocates' proposed amendments. It will also be important for reform advocates to engage skeptical members of the House, including many freshman lawmakers, he added, who have placed far too much currency in the monotonous, less than fact-based rhetoric from the criminal legal lobby. Among other changes, the latest version of the bill would also bring the regulation of hemp, especially extracts and cannabinoid products, under control of the Hawaii Hemp and Cannabis Authority. Here are the key provisions of the bill. Some of these are kind of interesting. The proposal would allow adults 21 and older to possess up to an ounce of cannabis and up to 5 grams of concentrates as of January 2026. Home cultivation would be legal, with adults allowed to grow up to 6 plants to keep as much as 10 ounces of resulting marijuana. The measures would create the Hawaii Hemp and Cannabis Authority to license and regulate adult use cannabis businesses and the state's hemp industry. That body would be overseen by a 5-member appointed cannabis control board led by an executive director who would need to have experience in public health or cannabis regulation. Cultivators, processors, medical dispensaries, adult use retailers, craft dispensaries, and independent testing laboratories would be licensed under the plan, with regulators able to adopt rules around special events, social consumption, and other special use cases. Adult use cannabis products would be taxed at 14%, while medical cannabis would be subject to a 4% tax. Industrial hemp would continue to fall under the state's general sales tax. Tax revenue from marijuana sales would be divided between a law enforcement-focused fund and another that would promote cannabis social equity, public health and education, and public safety. People with convictions for activities made legal under the bill would be able to petition to have their records expunged.
Yay!
People with past felony convictions for cannabis would be eligible to be licensed or work in the legal cannabis industry after 10 years from the end of their incarceration, parole, or supervised release. The mere use of cannabis would not be grounds for revoking parental custody, preventing parole or probation, or withholding state benefits or entitlements. That's a huge change too. Driving under the influence of cannabis would remain illegal, with the bill setting a legal limit of 10 nanograms of THC per milliliter of blood. The bill would provide state-level tax relief for licensed marijuana businesses, allowing them to take deductions that they're barred from doing at the federal level under the IRS Code 280E. People with felony convictions on their criminal records could not enter the industry as a licensee or employee until 10 years after their sentences are complete. The possession, manufacture, and sale of cannabis paraphernalia would be legal among adults. The bill would also create new criminal penalties for people under 21 found in possession of marijuana, who could face up to 30 days in jail and a fine of up to $1,000 for possession of up to 3 grams. The bill currently includes an effective date of December 31st, 2050 to encourage further discussion. Not sure what that means. Democrats in control of Hawaii Senate said in January that cannabis legalization is one of their top priorities this legislative session, framing the reform as a means to boost the state's economy. State residents, for their part, seem to support the change. A Hawaii Perspective survey published last month by the Pacific Resource Partnership found 58% of people in Hawaii support legalization. All right. Go-to-market strategy for psychedelics diverges from marijuana's blueprint. It's another story. The nascent psychedelics industry is taking a different path to market than the marijuana sector, despite their shared medicinal roots. While most states move to regulate commercial medical marijuana programs without an extensive library of research, psychedelics advocates are adopting a different strategy. In the US, cannabis went for legalization in states before there was a ton of research, explained Dr. Lynn Marie Morsky, a former physician with the US Department of Veterans Affairs, who now serves as the president of the Psychedelic Medicine Association. Quote, it led with legalization, whereas psychedelics led with the research, added Morsky, who will speak about emerging research in the medical applications of psychedelics at the Emerald Conference, April 1st through 3rd in San Diego. Following the research, though scientists began studying pharmacological compounds known as psychedelics as early as the 1950s, it took more than 40 years to find their place in academia. In 2000, researchers from the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore were the first to obtain regulatory approval to reinstate research with psychedelics. The researchers' 2006 landmark study highlighting the safety and long-term benefits of a single dose of psilocybin, the psychoactive ingredient in magic mushrooms, ushered in a new era of research. In 2019, the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine established the Center for Psychedelic and Consciousness Research, CPCR, the first institute of its kind in the nation. To date, CPCR and university researchers have published more than 150 peer-reviewed articles in scientific journals. Several other schools, including Stanford University, have become research leaders in the expanding field. Quote, there was so much research on psychedelics before even one state, Oregon, had it even partially legal, Morsky told MJ Biz Daily. In November 2020, Oregon voters approved Measure 109 to create a program for administering psilocybin products to those 21 and older. In September 2023, just last year, the Oregon Health Authority granted a license to Epic Healing, making it the first regulated psilocybin service provider in the state, charting a new path. After 9 years as a physician at the VA, Morsky left to focus on educating other healthcare professionals, such as clinicians, doctors, nurses, and therapists about the benefits of psychedelic medicines. Her role as a defense contractor and psilocybin Schedule I status as a federally prohibited substance precluded Morsky from even raising the topic of psychedelic therapy treatments with the VA patients, despite growing research demonstrating the value of psychedelics when addressing the root cause of trauma, reducing symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and improving traumatic brain injury symptoms. I couldn't go to work and tell the veterans who needed this the most, Morsky said. Inspired to create change, Morsky helped establish the Psychedelic Medicine Association in San Diego to bridge the gap between traditional medical care and psychedelic therapies through data, education, and research. We formed to educate clinicians on psychedelics so that they feel comfortable having those conversations with patients, Morsky said. Business opportunities. The private sector is playing a key role in advancing psychedelic science, leveraging years of academic research to create new studies and commercialize various drug treatments that incorporate ketamine, MDMA, and psilocybin. Lykos Therapeutics, formerly known as MAPS Public Benefit Corp., is among the leaders in the field. The San Jose, California-based company has completed 2 phase 3 trials for PTSD and submitted a new drug application to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for MDMA to be used in combination with psychological intervention, including talk therapy and other supportive services from qualified healthcare providers. The FDA is expected to conclude its review in August. MDMA-assisted therapy has not been approved by any U.S. regulatory agency as yet. If the FDA were to approve it, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration would be required to reschedule MDMA for medical use. MDMA has been classified as Schedule I since 1985. In January, Lykos announced it raised more than $100 million in a Series A funding round led by Helena, a Los Angeles-based global investor. Betty Aldworth, communications director for the California-based Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, highlights the key role the private industry will play in the emerging sector, while drug developers, ancillary service providers, training providers, retreat centers, university research centers, clinic networks, insurers, and many other large-scale businesses will drive the eye-popping industry size estimates for psychedelics, she said. Psychedelic-assisted therapies and treatments are fundamentally a person and community-oriented practice. Clinicians facilitate the treatments, local nonprofit clinics are structuring their businesses for equitable access, and researchers are exploring the cutting edge of psychedelic-assisted treatments in small proof-of-concept studies to establish new areas for research. MDMA clinics will be established, according to Morsky, similar to the advent of ketamine clinics in the late 2000s. Insurers will play a key role for businesses as advocates lobby for coverage for these expensive therapies, she added. There will definitely be a boom of psychedelic-related businesses for sure, Morsky said. And that's the Canna and Psychedelic News for episode 197 of Weeds Days. I'm Radamas Barak. Pleasure to deliver this important information to you.
Well, I have not a rebuttal, but a comment editorial myself about the first the segment that you read in Hawaii and them legalizing it. And then it's also similar to the psychedelic story about the paradigm shift that needs to happen, where we just let loose of everything. If alcohol's legal, we have to start working on the template to get psychedelics and be responsible when we do that. So my conundrum since the beginning of this, since I was working with Jack Herer, everybody, was why isn't there one law, one room full of 12 adults that are OGs that just say, hey, this is how it should be in every state, and that it's not confusing and it's not all over the place and it's not in Europe different, it's not in Mexico different, even though people are different. It should just be legal, and it should be taxed in a proper way that everybody makes money, including the growers, including the people like Solo that want to have work in that industry, and the Lakota hemp people in South Dakota that are trying to grow 1 million acres for hempcrete and for the industrial aspects. And we have Paul and his partner on that are selling and getting closer to helping America get more industrial with their machinery. So that's my take on it, Rodimus, is like, what the heck? Why isn't there just one, one mission and one folder, one paperwork that says what it is, and that we follow that? Then it wouldn't be so confusing, and you wouldn't have to read 5 minutes of a whole thing that kind of is repetitive and different than the next state.
Jeff, I'm reading what you've asked me to read.
Do you agree? Do you agree I'm just saying.
States have their own way of doing things. The United States is a series of 50 cooperating states, and they all have their own legislation, their own bodies of governing, and then there's the federal level. And so, yeah, there's all this stuff in between to make that all work, Jeffrey. So it is complicated. There's not any time it's going to be simplified anytime soon.
Well, that's our job here on We Say, is to make sense and make order out of the chaos, and share with you that we're bringing some prisoners home, or we're assisting, we're helping, and we're recognizing them. That's what our relief concert's all about. We welcome Paul and his beautiful friend, partner on stage here, and White Scope. And so,
how's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing today? I appreciate everybody for having me here. I'm sorry, my background's a little loud.
Oh, no, you're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah, remind us your name.
Barbie.
Hey, Barbie, and we got Paul and Barbie. They work together on helping the industrial side of marijuana. So there you go. Let's end this prohibition together.
Sorry that we're late.
Oh no, you're never late. Everything's fine. We welcome you on board. I have to close the shop down early today because we have another meeting afterwards. So it's a busy day, but we've had a great experience. We had Uncle Stoner. We had really of the squash off, and he was great. And now YouTube. Barbie, any updates?
No, not necessarily. We're still doing we're still doing our same thing. I was on the call earlier this morning as well, so I apologize for being late. But no, just doing the same thing. We're still out here giving great assistance and having great products for people in their businesses, for the equipment leasing and a lot of other products. So I'm going to drop our website and my email in the comments. And if anybody is looking forward to wanting to have a meeting or wanting to talk about any way that we can be an asset or bring any type of resources or bring any type of information, we're always open to that. And like I said, I appreciate you guys just allowing me on your platform and taking the time to talk to me.
Oh, fantastic. And Paul, any updates?
Man, Well, the reason we're late was we were on a call with Western Fiber. Check them out, westernfiber.com, but their website doesn't tell the whole story of what they do. They're awesome. Circular thing, farmers are taken care of, building houses for $60 a square foot. Combination of biodegradable materials they got to process. They want to build a process. They're converting gin mills. His theory is, I'm not going to build a big brand new manufacturing facility.
They're converting cotton gin mills, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what Larry was doing. Larry Serban was doing that.
Well, that's his business model. He doesn't believe in the new equipment. He says, I can get this running in 3 months. So that's what we were talking to him about. But it's pretty cool. And he's a cool guy. I mean, everybody in hemp is like out for good purposes. And I'm just saying, affordable housing is a pretty good purpose. $60 a foot.
Hey.
And he's got a contract. If he can build this stuff, why has San Diego not done it yet? But San Diego is going to buy 1,500 of these units off of him.
Well, fantastic. Well, we're glad to have you, and we've got to say hello to Crazy Pot Mom and see if you got any updates for us.
Well, my daughter had her surgery. They took out the tumor under her tongue. It was the size of a golf ball, but it was also this long. So it was pushing up against her spine. There's a lot of extra things that we know now. Our 2-month recovery might take up to 5 years because of all the surgeries they're threatening to have to do now. So on top of that, I'm sick. So it's just been a couple of weeks, right? That's my update. That's it.
Take it easy. We love you so much and welcome aboard. We're going to roll out of here, everybody. Solo, do you have a final quote for us?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say cheers to everybody for coming. It's been an awesome show. Learned a lot of cool information. The quote we'll end with is today: happiness always looks small while you hold it in your hands, but let it go and you learn at once how big and precious it is.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Well, everybody, we're at the top of the hour, and we're blessed to have Solo with a few words of wisdom every week. We'll get Lala back to pull a tarot card from New Orleans. And in the meantime, we went global today. We had Eric Boone in, our favorite hemp fester from Portugal. And so hemp hooray, everybody. And I'm going to roll out of here, actually, if anybody has any final words. Eric, you have any final words? Tell us about Canna Portugal. Just a little bit. You're muted. We'll let Eric have
sorry, forgot about the double mute there. No, we're just really excited for this inaugural trilogy event. HempFest is the business to consumer component of a collaboration with Canna Portugal event and World CBD Awards sort of gala industry recognition and celebration. So we're very excited to be providing sort of a turnkey event that combats this growing event fatigue that I think we all feel as more and more events come online. So I'll hopefully by next week we'll have the website updated, and I'll be able to provide some more detail at that point. So.
Okay, everybody, give us 3 here, everybody. 3. Okay, we got it. Whoops, hang on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we got 3. And I'm going to give one last shout out here, everybody. Watch this. I'm going to enlarge our, let's see if I can do this with grace and care here. There we go. I'm going to enlarge our poster. Next week here in Washington State, everybody, on March 16th, on Washington Street, we're doing our fundraiser. We're asking for 20 people to come and help us finance our $10,000 for our production for our concert tour that we're getting ready for. It's going to be many tiers. We're going to do a film festival here at the Rose.
Only 20 people gave $500. That's 10,000. If 30 people gave 350, that would be close to 10,000. So it really is not a lot to ask. It's not a lot to ask, and we are really this is the closest we are have gotten so far to being able to give back to the prisoners. This is going to be for helping their families. This is for helping them in the canteens, in their prisons, and any legal battles that they need a little extra cash for. That's what we're trying to get happen here. But this is the start, so we can make the bigger event and then the biggest event. And this is all going in one direction. It's a fulfillment of Jeff's hard work over the last several years, and then the people now on our team who are actually knuckling down and doing a lot of really important work.
It feels really good. It feels really good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's happening.
Yeah, our team is happening, and everybody. So everybody gather and hunker down with your team, hold your loved ones, and take it from me, because people are leaving the planet unbeknownst, like really quickly. Go hang out with your friends that are not feeling well, because you may lose them. And Ham Ham Parade, I'm going to do our outro. And it's been a pleasure, everybody. We're at the top of the hour. Jeff Eichen here, 103. And love and light and Ham Ham Parade. So here we go. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week.
And a big thank you to Uncle Stoner. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Uncle Stoner. We'll see you next week, everybody. And here we go without the can of news. Here we go. Okay. At the count of 3, we're going to say Ham Ham Parade and thank you all for this Weeds Day. In prison for marijuana, but there is a new person that came our way this week, and I'd like to introduce him to you by hearing just a few words. And here we go. Ham Ham Parade, Jeff Eichen, with episode 197 of WEEDSDAYS. Everybody, this is Jeff Eichen with WEEDSDAYS, with Lifers Madness, the movie, and Relief Foundation, and our new fundraiser. I want to introduce you to a new friend of mine, an ex-POW, and I want him to give us a testimonial that it sucks to be in jail, and that for you all to empty your pockets and help us make a concert with Snoop and Willie if they're willing. So take it away, introduce yourself.
If they're willing.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well. My name is Christopher, sometimes go by Dr. Daymaker. I spent 3 years and 9 months in federal prison for a ghost dope conspiracy charge that was a government cover-up that involved government officials, Navy SEALs, the whole 9 yards. And I took it on the chin, and, it is absolutely intolerable, the conditions that are taking place inside these prisons, the inadequacy of health care, the inability to do anything to help these prisoners. Trump passed this FSA bill. None of the credits or hours are actually applying. It's called EPRR programming. Every single thing about it, from the food to the living, just everything. I was in 11 facilities, 3 times on Con Air. I got my ass handed to me, and I didn't play by the rules. And, sincerely, nobody should be, it says it in the Bible, God gave us every herb-bearing seed. And the reality is that it is beyond a victimless crime. In fact, the victims are the ones that aren't having access to this medicine. And it's quite infuriating. I've met many people along the way that were in there for cannabis, and all of these people were amazing individuals. They weren't nefarious. They weren't actually, some of them, doing anything wrong, some just by association. But, I'm walking a strong path. And, as the saying goes, prison starts when you get out of prison. It's not when you're in prison. I have an amazing resume. I'm French, Moroccan, and Azorian. Although my skin is white, which I don't know what that means in this day and age, I still cannot get a job.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to World 420 Day. It's going to be a good one.
Jeff Eichen here with Life is the Movie. I'm sticking to my story. Thank you all for joining in here and watching this incredible story of people, yes, still in prison for life, for a plan, and for nonviolent crimes. It's time to level the playing field and to tell your authorities and globally to end prohibition. We can do this, folks. We have to. It will manifest in so many different ways across the board. Contemporary, I mean what I say, reform, clemency, and restitution. It's a good time to speak up and through film, share this with the world and end global prohibition.
This is Tommy Chong for Lakers. Madness.
Hooray. Old poster, it's actually March 16th, next week, Friday, and we're really blessed to have you all join us. And we're going to be virtual also. So there's going to be a virtual link on our site at relieffoundation.org. No hyphen this time. But if you do put a hyphen in, that's our alternative site. It has some other goodies there floating around. So relieffoundation.org and relief-foundation.org. So it's Jeff Eichen here. We're really blessed to be putting on our first fundraiser. And Paul, we'd love to have you step in the virtual room. And if you have anybody that wants to throw us 5 bones, we're asking 20 people for 5 bones so we can get our project started. And we're really blessed to have you all today. I got to get out of here because I have a core meeting. And it's been a pleasure, everybody. Peace in the Middle East, peace in your heart. Give me 3 fingers, everybody. It's really our new peace sign, and we got to do a 1 million person march across the world to end prohibition. Love you, Ben, everybody. Bye-bye. Peace out. Okay. And everybody, it's Jeff Eichen here on, let's see if we can bring me back here. It's Jeff Eichen here with WEEDSDAYS, episode 197. It's been a pleasure. And don't forget, it is time to end prohibition, so hooray, I mean what I say, and see you later, everybody, on StreamYard.